If you have a project that is very big in DaVinci Resolve here for the iPad, with the new AI, we can now search for objects and people when we are using the new IntelliSearch that lets you search for people and objects here. In this video, I will show you how you can use this even here on the iPad. Hey and welcome, I'm Daniel. I'm a digital nomad, a filmmaker, and I'm traveling around now since 10 years, but I also created one of the biggest DaVinci Resolve iPad resources on the planet. This is the DaVinci Resolve iPad MasterClass. We got an amazing community with people, and I cover a lot of DaVinci stuff here on this channel. So if you're into that, definitely subscribe if you haven't subscribed, because if I look at the data, most of you guys never subscribe to my channel. If you find these videos helpful and you want me to continue doing them, definitely subscribe and like. Let's continue with the video. AI IntelliSearch lets you easily search the people or objects. And at the same time, when we come down here, AI Slate Finder and AI Slate ID to read slates and populate clip metadata and automatically detect slates and markup position. In order to use IntelliSearch and also the slate search and all of this, the first thing you have to do is you have to come up here to DaVinci Resolve in the menu, and then come here to the Extras Download Manager. The Extras Download Manager is a feature that they introduced in one of the older versions because DaVinci Resolve is getting bigger and bigger because of the AI tools. But you don't need all of the AI tools. So in the Extras Download Manager, you have a couple of extra AI features that you can download if you want them. So for example, if you never work with the IntelliSearch, it's like 1 GB extra, then you don't have to download that. Or for example, we have the AI Slate, which is actually 5 GB. I never really work with that. So I will, after this video, I will just delete that and save 5 GB because I don't need that. Then one of the new features now with DaVinci Resolve 21 is the AI speech generator. I will show you this later. And that's also, you have to first download that. This was already in extended AI transcription language support. So if you don't speak English and your YouTube videos is about in a different language, like my other channel, German, for example, or French or Spanish, then you can download the extended AI transcription language support that will help you with other languages as well. In the Extras Download Manager, you have to now make sure that you download the IntelliSearch faster. And I show you now something that's the difference to the desktop and the iPad version. And by the way, in my Extras Download Manager here for my iPad M1 and also for my iPad Mini 7, it's the same. So I have these 4 that I can download: IntelliSearch Faster, Slate ID, Speech Generator, and extended transcription language support. If I go to my Mac, the list looks like this. I can download IntelliSearch Better, which is another version, which takes way longer to analyze. I think that's the main reason why they didn't put it into the iPad, because now the faster is already taking long. If you play around it with this now, you will see. And I think the better one, it just takes way more time. It needs way more resources. And by the way, when I did the analyze here with my M1 iPad, I was at like 40% and I went down to almost 15% just through the analyzing process. Also be aware, my iPad now is almost 4 or 5 years old, so it's getting old. It's time to upgrade. Probably with the next iPad I will upgrade, just because the battery is now getting old and everything. So maybe the heating problem is not 100% related to this feature, but I could see that it was draining my battery a lot. So the better version that you can have on the Mac is basically the same feature, but it can recognize more objects, but it also takes more time. And you see here also it's like 4 times the size. And then the other one that is not inside of the iPad version is here AI voice training. I'm curious, if you have a newer iPad with M4 or M5 and maybe even the 16 GB version. So if you have a 1 TB or 2 TB iPad, then you have the 16 GB version. I wonder if this is maybe accessible in the newer versions. I think it's not. I think they just limit that and it's not possible on the iPad for whatever reason. And for that, we go now into the edit page. So definitely have to open the edit page. And what we can do is, actually it works in the cut page too for just analyzing. But what we can do is I can, for example, select my clips here. I see this new icon here on the top. I can right click on this and then, for example, say here, perform AI analysis only with the selected clips. So the clips that I just selected. So I could also just select like 3 clips or something and not all of them. Or you can say perform AI analysis for all of the clips. By the way, if we come here to the cut page and we come here to the videos folder and I select some folders here, I don't have this option here on the top, but I can right click here and I can come here to AI tools. And then I find here IntelliSearch and I can also analyze for search and I can click this one and just double check with another test. Upgrade, yes. So if I select this clip here, let's go to the cut page, because on the other project I already did it. So it's right click, AI tools, AI transcription, here, IntelliSearch, analyze for search. It will just immediately analyze for search for the IntelliSearch. I don't want that now because I show you the better way. Come to the edit page, because when we use this icon here, so I can make a selection or I can use it for all clips. I will now do it here just for all clips because I don't have many clips in my project. But if you work with a big project, only select the clips that you actually want to analyze, because the analyzing process takes some time, even here on the iPad. So I click on this one, and now you get this new window here. And there are 4 different ways you can analyze now. The first one is the analyze for IntelliSearch. IntelliSearch is the new feature where you can now search. If you have footage, let's say, for example, here I have a woman, I can search for the woman, or I have a car here in this shot, I can search for the car. So it will recognize the visual clues of every little frame. And I can even identify faces if I want. The second one is analyze for slate. So what is a slate? Because we have here slate finder and slate ID. A slate is the following. If you make a proper movie and you use a slate, that's the slate, and you write down what is it, what role, what scene, what take, and you put this into every movie, and you have like a big movie with lots of slates. Now you can use an AI that detects all of these slates. So it goes through all of the footage. And by the way, that takes a lot of time. So if you don't work with slates, so what you will do here, especially now if you're a YouTuber like me and you don't work with slates, turn this one off. You don't need that. But if you use it, that's one of the new features. You can use the slate analyzer, and then it will look for these slates in your footage, and it will look for what you marked on your slate. So for example, here, scene 35A, take 1. Why? I show you something. Let's say I would have used a slate here in that clip, right? If I come to this clip and I open the inspector here and I come here to the metadata, in the metadata, I can take, shot, scene. These are empty. And usually what you do in the past, you would manually go now through your footage and type in, this is scene 5, this is this, this is this, this is this. If you work on a big project, this will help you later a lot. If you're just a YouTuber like me and you just make content with a couple of videos, you don't really need that. But if you have bigger projects and you use a slate, if you use now this slate feature, so let's come back in here. Analyze. If you use this analyze slate feature, it also adds all the text that he finds. So if he finds a slate on a clip and that slate has, for example, here scene 35A, take 1, it will automatically put it into the metadata of your clips. Be aware, it's like 90 to 95% accurate. Not all of them are working well. It also depends on your handwriting. The AI is not making a good job of handwriting. So if your handwriting is not good, it might not really recognize your handwriting. But you can see it as this. It's speeding up your process if you have clips with a slate. So in our case, we don't have a slate. We don't need that. If you use a lot of transcription, the transcription was already in. It's very powerful for podcasts, for example. So if you look here on my YouTube channel, you will find a couple of videos about transcribe audio and even speaker detection. So if you have podcasts, in this clip, I don't really have speakers, so I can just turn that one off. And then the same if you use many sound effects, and this is a sound effect like with whoosh or a car door or whatever, and you use these and they are not classified yet, then you can also use the AI to audio classification, then it will put them into different categories. We don't need that. So we now analyze only for IntelliSearch. Because I even don't have faces, I will turn identify faces off as well. If you have lots of faces and you want to identify the faces, then you keep that one on. And then you say analyze. I already analyzed all of this because I was playing around and testing if it actually works on the iPad. So the good news, it works. It takes a lot of time. To be fair, on a project like this, I would never use it because that's a very small project. But the cool thing now is what you can do is when you come up now here to search, you will have a couple of more options. So it's the normal search, but you can search for all, search visual only, or your transcripts or your metadata. And for example, if I now type in here car, it finds automatically the clips where I have a car inside. Or if I, for example, type in woman, there's a clip where it recognizes a woman. And also very important, this is a good example, something in the newest iPad 26 version. When this comes up, I have no idea how to close it. Now I closed it. Last time it stayed open and I did not know what to do. I had to close DaVinci and open it again, but now it worked. Okay, when I now come here to master, and the first time I tried this and I typed in car, it didn't come up. Even if here search in all bins was selected, I had to just first select bins and then go back to all bins, and then it suddenly worked on my iPad. So if that doesn't work with all bins for you, just try to reselect that here and then it works. And I noticed the following. When we come to the cut page, so if I come here to the videos, for example, and I search now for car, it even recognizes that in here. And you will notice that all of the clips that have now this little tag here for IntelliSearch. So if I deselect this here and you see here, we have this little icon. That's the icon for these clips are now added to the IntelliSearch. And then we have a second part. We have full clips, so it will show us the full clip. Or if you have longer clips where there's only segments from the object that you're looking for, like a dog, a woman, or a car, you can also change this here to segments, and then it will also just show you the segment of these clips. And maybe I have a couple of these clips. Here in my example, it's only one, but imagine I would have now here 10 different clips, and now I see all the car clips. Here's a new feature next to it. I can create a smart bin from my selection. A smart bin in DaVinci Resolve was already there. A smart bin is basically a filter. You can filter through your stuff. Before I now show you this is when you come to this here in the edit page, this can be open all the time. Here are the smart bins. And when you click these smart bins and make this here bigger, you have different ways of smart bins you can create. I can, for example, go by keywords and then, for example, say like, here are the 2 flags or screenshots. I can add key flags and keywords and everything. And I can create my own smart bin. So if I click on this one, then this window opens up and I can add all kinds of different filters. I can filter all of my footage for drone shots. I can filter through slow motion shots. I can, like, whatever you can imagine, you can create your own sorting. It's a filter, and then add them here to the smart bins. If you don't see that here on the left side, number one, you have to make sure that this here is activated. And then here under the 3 dots, you find here show smart bin. If this is off, you have to first activate it. I will not go over smart bins because there is a video on my YouTube channel and even in my DaVinci Resolve iPad Masterclass where I go deeper into smart bins and I explain you everything what you can do. But the cool thing now is if we come back here to the search and I search, for example, now for car, and imagine I would have now a couple of clips, I can now, this search by IntelliSearch, I can add this to a smart bin and it will automatically put all of these references in, and I just have to say create, and now I have here the smart bin. I just tested that on my MacBook, and on my MacBook it works straight away. It could be that it's just my test project here that for whatever reason the car doesn't show up there. I tested this with my last YouTube video and it recognized me as man. I searched for man and now I have a smart bin and it works. Maybe give this a try if this works. The idea is, and maybe this comes in a new update, so you can create it, it works. It also recognizes, like, for example, if I segments all bins and let's add this one here and let's call this one woman, create, and it doesn't show up. If I compare this with my Mac, it's the exact same smart bin structure except woman I typed in man, and in my MacBook it shows me me as a person. Here on my iPad it doesn't really show. Let's see what happens if I restart DaVinci Resolve, because the smart bins stay when you create them once, they stay in your place. Let's go for woman. Doesn't like it. What if we change it here from selected bins to all bins? Now it shows the woman. When I change, it's not there again. So if I come in here and I just edit it for a second and just hit OK, it shows up. If I shift around, it's gone. Obviously, the edit page is not officially launched yet. Maybe this is a feature we can get in the future. This was just one of those many updates that we got with the newest version for DaVinci Resolve, and I cover most of them even in an entire long video where I show you all of these features. But if you're new to DaVinci Resolve, some of this stuff can be super overwhelming. This is why I created this step-by-step guide, a DaVinci Resolve Masterclass, to take you from beginner to pro, to show you really everything. It is made for beginners. You have never heard about DaVinci Resolve before and you just want to start, and I will bring you to advanced techniques. All of this is covered in one amazing DaVinci Resolve package. Check out the link in the description and then get to the next level. If you found this helpful, hit like, subscribe, ding and the bang bang gong, and we see us in the next video. I'm Daniel, and I hope that you can make amazing videos in the future with all of these amazing tools that we got for DaVinci Resolve here on the iPad. See you soon on this channel. I'm Daniel. Bye.